Highline Voices on 106.5 KQWZ LPFM, connecting our community through history, heritage, art, and culture. We share the stories of Highline region and its people, embracing our differences and celebrating what we share.
Hi everyone, this is Nancy from the Highland Heritage Museum and welcome back. Today we have this beautiful, amazing human being that I'm just so happy. And I think I've been asking you this for quite a while, I think, or maybe it's in my mind. I mean, come on, let's do this interview. So I'm just really, really happy that finally it's happening. And why are we doing this? Why not? Why not on the concept of get to know each other, to know neighbors, to know who is our partnerships in a community, who is involved in different things, who is a business, who are our friends. There's been many times where I've known people for many years and just asking the questions, who are you? And it's like, oh, mind blowing. So I hope that this is an opportunity for you to get to know people and know that they are right next to you. So once again, thank you for allowing us to do this interview. So are you ready?
Ready.
Okay.
Ready.
So let us know. Who are you?
Who am I? Anytime anybody says, who are you? I always think of that first line of Emily Dickinson's poem, I'm nobody. I'm nobody. Who are you? Are you nobody too? And I think I always kind of get a little wrong, but it's just one of my favorite poems. I've always kind of stayed in the shadows. Yes, you have asked me a couple of times to do the interview, and I've just been like, why would I do this interview? Not because you are amazing and doing these interviews are amazing. I went back through and watched several of them, and I'm just always in complete awe of the ways that you reach out to the community and the ways that you connect and collaborate and build this community. And it's just so important. It's always important. It's super important now. But to get back to who I am a mother of 3 amazing kids, and 2 of them are actually adults at this point, but they're amazing kiddos. I am a Burien resident community member for almost 25 years now. And sometimes that shocks me. I'm like, whoa, I've really been here 25 years. I'm an avid reader, a volunteer. I do a lot of volunteer work here in Burien. A forest steward, a gamer, creative, hiker, writer, dreamer, activist, ally, and an introvert, very much so, an introvert. And I'm a woman and human above all else, and many other things.
Oh, way more than that. Trust me, way more than that. And so why I've been bugging you and being almost harassing you to do this interview is because anything that you do is beautiful. Every activity that you do. I mean, an example of that. I came to my desk and it's an example of a skeleton that glows in the dark. And then it's just comes up with an idea like, oh my gosh, such a beautiful initiative and effort and caring. And so there's a lot of things that comes to just one little action and really matters. So that's the one that I just got just this last week. And then prior to that, I've been seeing you, like promoting this all organization. Oh, what about doing this and this with them? That's one. And then I see you, and then you're always supporting the arts and culture in the area with many different formats. Or then throughout the years, it is just see glimpses of how much you care, and not just for one person, but for many different projects and many different initiatives. And you're right there. And then you've been also volunteering here at the museum for many reasons and many things. And it's always been in a fun way. And so why? It's just that I want people to see the light, the beautiful magic that you share to others. And I don't know, I just love the idea of saying thank you. Thank you for how much you love how much you love this community enough that you're always promoting us from each other, and how you're creative and you are coming up with ideas. How can we do this? We can do this. And I don't know. I just want people to also connect that all the work that you have done, there is a face and name to it and there's a story to it. So that's the reason why I've been bugging you for nonstop. But tell me more about you. I mean, you can start us to either, and this is your interview. I'm not going to guide you, but you can go all the way from why here in Burien, why the cultural sector, or anything that nobody knows about you. Anything, just go for it.
Um, oh, I just community collaboration. I always have a lot of ideas, like keep me up late at night ideas that I would love to see happen. And we're more powerful together in so many ways. And I want to support my friends. I want to support the community. A lot of the art type volunteer work that I've done throughout the years came about because I had friends say, "Hey, can you come help me do this?" My friend Lance used to say, "Hey, can you come help me do 2020 art that Burien Arts Association did?" And I would go and help him put up the displays that the artist put on. And it was just such an amazing art thing that I loved being a part of and seeing, what kind of creations these artists, and to be a part of that was amazing. And then, another friend would say, "Hey, can you come do this?" And then you get to know people in the community and you're just like, "Hey, I see something that could really be amazing come about if the two of you got together," much like you do. Um, I can come in here and have a conversation with you about, "Hey, I want to see this thing." And you're like, "Okay, well, what can we do to make this work? And how are we going to get there?" And I just absolutely love that mentality, that creativity, that synergy. We can do so many things together. And I don't like hearing no, I don't like hearing that's not possible. I think that's all just BS,
Mm-hmm.
quite frankly.
Mm-hmm.
We're so capable of doing so many things. Burien is such a great community with such huge possibility to get to amazing places. And it's already there on some levels, but I know that we can just be bigger and grander and greater and more creative. I like to volunteer. I like to give back to. I like to be parts of things that, like the forest steward work that I do. As a child, I spent a lot of time in the woods. I spent a lot of time in urban forest and regular forest. My family, we were hunters, but my grandfather was very much respect the land, respect the animals. So you didn't go into the forest and just take it. You're part of that forest. We're all part of it together. I'm not getting that thought out quite like I had envisioned it prior to coming in here, but I, when I had children, decided I wanted to make sure that they had that same love for nature and that same love and understanding of how the forest or land or nature isn't just a resource or something you take from, you're part of it. And we need to give back to it as well. So my son and I do a lot of forest steward work. We're both forest stewards at the Salmon Creek Ravine here in Burien. And we do that through the Green Burien Partnership and King Conservation District. And we became forest stewards, frankly, because he was part of a tree team on his campus at Big Picture.
Mm-hmm.
And he wanted to learn more about it. He wanted to go into conservation. He wanted to learn about whether that was something that he wanted to put his career on. And so we had networked. We had gone to a lot of different conservation and restoration volunteer events and networked with as many people as we could find. And nobody was really offering like internships at the time. We couldn't find anything in that area. They had a lot of funding for summer programs and things. So we decided to create our own opportunity. So we became forest stewards with the Salmon Creek at the Salmon Creek Ravine. And then we also brought other students from Big Picture to the forest with us. And some of these students had never been in any kind of forest at all.
Oh my God.
And here was this safe urban forest for them to, come and be in and hear the birds and hear the creek and the water running. And sometimes a lot of work didn't get done, but that was perfectly okay because they're outside, they're in the woods, and they're still learning. And so that was just amazing. And Lachlan will be leaving to go to college soon, but I'll continue on the forest steward work because it just reminded me of how I had kind of let myself get separated from some of that and wanted to be part of it some more. I had signed up for programs through Dirt Corps and through Tilt Alliance to learn more, to learn about the proper ways of caring for plants and trees and, the fledgling forest that we have out at Big Picture School. We stood there in the middle of the forest one day and realized that it was more than just planting trees. It's being aware of the non-native plants that are trying to come in and take over. And they're just doing what they're supposed to do. They're growing. They're doing a great job of it. But you have to make room for all these other things to grow too. And then I'm going to kind of switch gears here and talk about the Burien Library Guild. I just recently became a board member there, and the library is another one of those things that has always been very important to me. It's one of the last free things in this world, if you will, where you can go and just be. Everything you do has a cost, has something attached to it, and you have to support those things that are very important to you and align with what really resonates with you. And I moved around a lot when I was a child. We were in a new place almost like every year. And a consistent thing was the libraries, to be able to go and just the knowledge at hand, the resources, the information. So being a part of that, volunteering with that was very important to me as well, to give back to that. And the Burien Library Guild and many of the friends of the libraries that exist are important in that they cover cost of things that aren't in the regular library budget. And it's super low-key, low-stress position. I know the Boulevard Park Library, the Friends of the Boulevard Park Library, they're actually looking for board members right now. They have 2. And if one of those folks decide to leave, then the Boulevard Park Library group will be no more.
Wow.
They're so important. So if anyone out there wants to be part of something that's low-key stress, a couple of hours, here or there, they could really use that assistance. And it's so important.
See, that's one of the reasons why I wanted you here. Exactly for that reason, because you have shared here and there, either through talking or either through, even on social media. I didn't know anything about it. You were involved with trees until I started to see your social media, like, oh my goodness, she's volunteering, she's doing this. And so there's so many different ways that even without us really talking directly, I see your footprint around. And it's great. I love how, like when you mentioned community, what is community? And how can we be part of it? And in the way you're doing it, even with your son, being in nature, it was a very interesting comment where you said that some of them haven't even been in a forest before. And we live in an area that is one of those unique places in the planet that we have, the water and the mountains and the forest all in one place. And for someone who has never experienced a forest, it's like mind blowing to me. I come from Mexico City, so that's one of the first things I noticed when I arrived. Like, whoa, it is nature, and it's so healing. I wish that all of us in the community out there, if either as individuals, family members, or unnecessary institutions, that maybe we can come up with a system or or a foundation that we can support each other. Like in my case here in the museum, oh my goodness, I would love to invite you or invite the groups that you participate in to do lectures, to promote, to share the knowledge, to share opportunities, to say, hey, if it's about accessibility, well, here is this another way of having access to those resources and one and talk to people. But I can talk and I can talk a lot. So I'll go back to you as to, that was with the trees and as with the library. Um, I'm excited. Right after this, I'm going to grab her brain and we're going to look into what else we can do with that, with the libraries and think about that. But I'm so thankful that you share about those board positions and how important it is to keep those organizations alive. And so just keep them coming. So if you know more information, but okay, so now I'm throwing the ball back at you.
Throwing the ball back at me. Well, I mentioned some of the volunteer things that I do. Another one that I just recently started with was the Shark Garden. They're here in Burien as well. And I'd been to the Shark Garden many times throughout the years. I volunteered with Grace and Burien Arts. I volunteered with various other organizations that held events there in the garden. And I was recently there with Tilth Alliance, and they're the organization that I'm taking a soil and water steward workshop class through. And when we were standing there in the garden doing that, I realized I'm like, I need to do more here in this garden. I've been doing the tree side of things and the urban forest side of things, and I really want to get to the garden and growing side of things. And I had just been running these ideas. I want to see more gardens throughout Burien. I want to see the Burien garden space run by the community center. I want to see it bigger. I want to see spaces here in Burien that just sit and aren't anything become more, because I know that they can. I was in Fremont recently, and there's a business there, and I think it's a running company. I can't remember the name of it, but they had outside of on the sidewalk, they didn't have like the regular parking strip like other folks do. They had bioretention, they had nurse logs, they had pollinator garden, they had all of this beautiful, and it was just so peaceful and zen. And you're like in the middle of the city here, walking down a city street, typical business sidewalk that you see walking through, and then just this beautiful garden, this beautiful pollinator area. And I want to see more of that here. So taking the soil and water stewardship stewards program was important to me, just to learn about healthy soil and learn about social justice and equality and all of the important things that that go into creating a healthier city, a healthier planet, a health everything. And there's so many things that we can do, and I know that there are other people out there interested in doing that sort of thing, and if we can just bring it all together and really show how amazing this can be, then, like I said, ideas after ideas after ideas. I have them constantly, like keeping me up at night, and just like we can do this thing, and we can do this thing, and we can do this thing. And honestly, I wouldn't be happy just doing one thing forever. The same thing forever. I love to volunteer, and I love to do things where this week you might be working with getting children into the woods or into healthy spaces, or making things more accessible for people. Or another time, just like you said, sharing that information with people in workshops or whatever. And then I might do a week of nothing but arts and crafts and creating things. And like I always call myself a creative and not an artist, and I think it's because I'm not just a painter. I weave, I do photography, I do graphic design. It's just such a huge encompassing thing of all the interests that I have. And I love approaching things creatively. So this happens this way, and maybe it works and maybe it doesn't, but we can make it
Mm-hmm.
we can make it work, and we can have these creative ways of making it work. And
No, that's okay.
my
That's
thoughts
okay.
being
No, no, no,
everywhere.
no, no. There's you know, the spaces that we create is exactly for that. One comment that you mentioned right in the beginning was that there's no limits to you. Isn't this, you don't believe in that? No. And it's something that I relate to you because, you know, you're hungry, you got to eat. So you're going to eat somehow. Now, it's going to be a fancy restaurant eating, or are you going to have a picnic eating, or are you going to have something, you know, that you can do whatever. But at the end of the day, it's food. At the end of the day, you have to eat. And so I think that a lot of people get stuck with the concept, oh, we had to eat in a fancy restaurant. And then after that, they just don't eat only because they mission in what they envision, it has to be in a fancy restaurant. But at the end of the day, is no, we need art. We need the cultural element. We need to have the sense of belonging and connection. We need to have that because we are not just alone, one person, the whole universe. We co-share, we coexist with each other in a regular basis. And so when it is right, when you say like, when just somebody says no, it's like, yep, I don't align with those values.
Subscribe to that.
No.
That's awfully unimaginative. It's just it's not a concept I can what do you mean no? We can do anything, literally anything. We have everything we need. We have all the resources, we have the community, we have the people. There's so many problems that people look at and they're like, okay, it's been done this way, and this is the only way that works. And it's like, no, that's so limiting. That's the word I was looking for earlier. It's so limiting. You need creativity, you need multiple voices, you need to bring a lot of different people to the table because everyone's going to have an idea or a thought or an experience to share. I'm not going to realize some of the other experiences out there. I can't. I can only see mine, and I can be open-minded and humble and empathetic and all of those things, but I need those people to tell me their experiences and to share with me and to help us build something that is truly for all and not limited, not creatively, not people wise, not personality wise, not anything, just like, and get to work.
I'm done with talking. I really just want to focus on the action. I mean, the older I'm getting, the more I'm experiencing working in community is more clear to me when it's okay. Who are the ones who are just going to be wanting to talk versus who are the ones who just want to get done? I mean, do the job and it just be really strategic and really be mindful on how we do things. Believe it or not, we got 5 minutes left.
5 minutes. Whoa, that went faster than I thought.
I know. So
I think I was so nervous.
no, I think that yeah, and I do admit I get subconscious of looking at that. You guys, yeah, I do get subconscious, but I think it's a human nature of us wanting to present something or what's expected of us. But at the end of the day, I think the beauty of it is just coming as we are. And at this point, I think that the creativity, the element of co-sharing and come authentically as whatever that is. What a gift is to start seeing you as you are. You see me as I am with all the wackiness and flaws and the human elements, all of it. But it's still, say, like had that empathetic, safe space that just come as you are, regardless of the noise that we hear every single day. So this is about community, and I know that you said that you got a couple community organizations that you have in mind to support.
I do. The first one is the 6th annual Green Berrien Day is coming up. It's at Hilltop Park. It's from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. and it's put on by the Green Burien and City Partnerships and King Conservation District. And you come out to the park. If you haven't been to Hilltop Park before, I know Bat Theater has had performances there. There's ongoing restoration work there. It's just an amazing park and a lot has been accomplished. And it's just Green Burien Day is just a great day to come and celebrate, to learn about what has been done, to see what has been done in the restoration work in the world. And the forest steward that works there, I believe her name's Patricia. Sorry if I got it wrong, has done amazing work throughout the years.
I'm really bad with memory, but what about Victoria Love?
Victoria Love is, that's one of the people I want to talk with you about afterwards because I think she would be a great interview here. And also, she has come in. I call her my boss. I get the impression she doesn't really like me calling her that. Sorry, Victoria. She's amazing. I'm actually in the Tilt Alliance program with her.
Okay.
And she is the one running that particular event that day. I think it's her first event in this position because she's new in this position, not to stewardship, but in this position. So yeah, I love her. And the other volunteer thing I wanted to talk about was and I kind of touched upon it already, was the volunteer with your local library group. With Burien, it's the Burien Library Guild. Nancy and I are actually going to talk about some possible exhibits maybe, because the Burien Library Guild has been around since the 40s, 38, but 40 official, I believe. And then, but like Boulevard, Friends of the Boulevard Library, they can use people to be on their board. They can use membership. I believe someone told me the White Center Library as well, but really just wherever your local library is, call them up and say, do you have a friends group and how can I help? And it's low key, it's no stress. It's just very impactful, very helpful. And the Shark Garden, again, new volunteer there, but they have a fundraiser coming up this weekend from noon to 3. I'll be there in the morning to help set up, but then I have to go to work.
Oh.
Wow. It's a new job, not bad. They're going to be selling jams and all kinds of things from their produce that is from there. And this is an amazing garden. It was put together in a baseball diamond that was connected to the school. And this is what I mean about using spaces, you know. And the person there, Taryn, I think I said her name wrong. I'm so sorry. She'd be another person I think would be an amazing
I would love to. We need to get to know each other. So yeah.
So she could share the amazing history of the Shark Garden and how it started. And we were there, my son and I, on Wednesday because they pick produce from their garden and take it to the White Center Food Bank. And last year, or the year before, he volunteered at the White Center Food Bank. So I told him it'd be amazing for you to be like on the other side of it and pick the produce that actually goes there. He's like, yeah, I'll come down with you. So that was fun. And then Arts Aglow, I mean, you already know that's one of the only events in this town that I have never well, no, I can't say never, because I did help my friends set up the first couple of years, but I don't volunteer for it because I just want to go. Any other community event that's ever happened in this town at one point or another, I've volunteered on some level to help, whether set up or break down or just something. But that's the only one, and I really should get more involved with it because it's one of my favorites.
I know how you do it. I mean, the statement that you just did a couple of seconds ago about you've been volunteering for years in all these community organizations, and thank you. I don't know if people thank you as a group, but thank you collectively for everything that you do, because it is true. It doesn't take one person or two. It takes a community to make things happen. And then you've been touching a lot of that. And I hope that now you get a little bit more curious about her. And then whenever you see her around and helping and volunteering, say hi to her, because as you can see, she's pretty amazing. Crystal, again, thank you for the opportunity to save your story and to share your light. See, now you see what I wanted to do this. Anyway, thank you, everyone. Yeah, bye.
Discover the stories that shape our community with our Highline Voices on 106.5 KQWZ LPFM. Each week we bring you history, heritage, art, and culture from people who make the Highline region unique. From community traditions to contemporary voices, we celebrate what connects us all. Tune in and be part of the conversation. Our Highline Voices right here on 106.5 KQWZ LPFM.